Hello everyone, my name is Tanzina and welcome to my first assignment video from Data Seekho. In today's video, we will be diving into some hands-on Python exercise. Here is a quick review of the topics we will be discussed in this video. First one is a comment, then we're going to discuss about array identification, then variable assignment, descriptive variable names, numeric types and operations, then built-in function. At last we discuss arithmetic operations. End of this video, hopefully you all have a good understanding of Python basics. So let's get started with our first assignment. Here is our first exercise based on comments in Python. Understanding comments is crucial because they help you explain your code for others or even for yourself later on. Our job is to write a program that prints your name while demonstrating both single line and multi-line comment. We start with a single line comment that explains the first line of our code. A single line comment in Python starts with the hashtag symbol. It is used to briefly explain what a particular line or block of code does. The other single line comment explaining the print statement. Let's run this code. As expected, we get a hello. My name is Tanzira. Now let's move on to the multi-line comments. These are useful when we want to provide a more detailed explanation of code. In Python, we use triple quotes to write a multi-line comments. Next, our exercise is on identifying and correcting errors in Python. Debugging is a key skill for any programmers. Let's look at the code. The first error is a syntax error. It occurs due to a missing parenthesis, commas, quotation mark, or misspelled keywords. To fix this error, we just need to add the missing parenthesis at the end of the line. Now, syntax is correct and we will get our desired output. Let's move to the next code. Next error is a zero division error. In Python, dividing by zero is not allowed and it will cause the program to crash. To fix this error, we will change the denominator with non-zero number. Here we get an output without any error. It is another syntax error due to missing closing brackets in our list. To fix this error, we will add the closing bracket to complete the list. Here we get our desired list. At last, we have an index error. It occurs due to accessing an element in a sequence using invalid index. The code is trying to access an element at index 3 in a list that only has a 3 element, meaning the valid indices are 0, 1 and 2. To fix this error, we will be printing element at index 2, which is at the last valid index. Here we get our last element of the list. Our next exercise on variable assignment. In this code, we have to assign some personal information to variables and print them out with appropriate message. First, I assign the full name variable as a string. Next, I assign the age variable as a integers. Integers are whole number without decimal. For height, I store value as a float, which is a number that indicates decimal. This is important for a more precise measurement. Next, I print out all the variables with the appropriate message. And here is our output. First, it print out my name is Tanzila, then my age, then it print my height, and at the last it tell me whether I am a student or not. Now, our next exercise on our descriptive variable names. Descriptive variables help to our code more readable and understandable. Here is our code which calculate the multiplication of two numbers, but the variable names A, B, and C don't tell us much more about what they represent. This is where descriptive variable names come in. I rewrite this code for clarity. First, I assign the length of the rectangle with the variable name length of rectangle. This clearly indicates what this number represents. Next, I assign the width of the rectangle to the variable width of rectangle. Again, this name make it clear what this value stand for. Then we use the area of rectangle using these two variables by naming it area of a rectangle. Anyone reading this code will immediately understand that it is stored the area of a rectangle, and we get an output 50. Descriptive variable names make our code much easier to understand. This is especially helpful when working on large projects or collaborating with others. Our next exercise on our numeric types and operation. In this exercise, we will work with different types of numeric operations, from adding integers to multiple upload by a complex number. We even handle a common error in programming, dividing by a zero. First, we are adding two integers. I assign 345 to a first number and 100 to a second number. Then addition is a straightforward. Next, we are subtracting a float from an integer. In this case, we subtract 100 from 10.5. Let's move on multiplying a float by a complex number. We have assigned 5 plus 10j as our complex number and multiplying it by 10.5. Now, let's tackle something we all often encounter in programming. Division by zero. Python doesn't allow division by zero, so we use a try except block to catch the error. As we can see, Python raises a zero division error, and our code handled it by printing the message division by zero is not allowed. Handling zero like this make our code more robust. Now it's time to solve our second last exercise, which is based on a built-in function. The goal is to take a list of numbers as input from the users, find their absolute value, and identifying the max and min numbers from the list. Let's start by taking a look at the code. The, the first step is to get the list of numbers from the user. We prompt the user to enter the separator by commas and store this input as a string. Now we need to convert that string into a list of numbers. We use the split function to separate the numbers at the commas, and then we use a list comprehension to convert each string in the list to a float and store this list in a variable numbers. Let's calculate the absolute values of each number in the list using the abs function. The abs function returns the absolute value, which means it removes any negative sign. We use the max function to find the largest number in the list and the min function to find the smallest number. These built-in functions make it really easy to get the maximum and minimum values. Finally, we print the results. We display the original list, the absolute values, and the maximum and minimum values. Let's run this code. Here it is asking for us to enter the list. It is showing our original list. The absolute value of this list, as you can see, it converts the negative minus 1.0 into a positive 1.0. Then it is showing our absolute maximum value, which is 12.0, and the minimum value of the list is minus 5.0. For our last exercise of this assignment, this arithmetic operation, it prompts the user to input two numbers, asks them to select an operation, and then print the result based on the operation selected. Let's go through it step by step. We first by asking the user to enter two numbers. These inputs are taken as a float so that the user can enter both whole number and decimals. We display four options: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Then ask the user to select the operation they want to perform by using corresponding symbol. Once the user selects the operation, we use an if-else statement to execute the correct operation based on their choices. We use conditions to check which operation the user has selected. If the user chooses addition, we calculate and display the sum of the two numbers. The same goes for the subtraction. For division, we need to be careful about dividing by zero. In Python, dividing by zero raises an error. To handle that, we check if the second number, if it is zero, we display a message, division by zero is not possible. Saying that division, how this code works. the correct answer by multiplying the both numbers. Let's run this code one more time, and this time we have to select a division operation and also putting the second number as a 0. As expected, we get the message division by 0 is not possible. This program worked just as it meant. And that is a wrap for today's assignment. We have covered a lot of ground, from using comments, fixing syntax and logic errors, to performing arithmetic operations, working with built-in functions, and even building a simple calculator. I hope you now feel more comfortable with the basics of Python. Debugging, handling errors, and using core functions are fundamental skills for every programmer. With consistency, practice, these concepts will become second nature